Good day once again. I took the car for a drive after putting the gearbox on. Everything felt good. Of course, there's no first gear in it now, so I have to start off in second, and it's not even that bad because the car is so light. Yeah, so nothing to complain about there, really. You know, of course, I did a bunch more checks once I test drove it, but yeah. All you gotta do is be careful to not ride the clutch too much in second to set off, but again, it's not like it's a drag car, so I don't really care. You'll notice the turbo isn't on there, and that's kind of what I want to talk about right now. This is bits of my turbo scattered across the bench here. I haven't rebuilt this thing in like 4 years, so this is the same bearings that have been in it. Everything looks good. This is the shaft. There's no damage or anything on the turbine blades or anything weird, so there's nothing to complain about. But what I'm doing here is changing seal collars, and I'm shimming it a little tighter just because of bearing wear. But this collar here is what came out of it, and then this is the collar I'm going to put in. If you notice, the heights look slightly different on them, and what I'm doing is actually pushing the compressor wheel out so it tightens up the thrust clearance in the compressor housing. And yes, this is the 3D printed compressor housing I've been running. So by doing that, I literally bring the wheel up in the center section, and then by doing that, tightens up the clearance right in this spot once again. And also, this is a new wheel, so the wheel that came out of it was actually from a damaged turbo years ago. So tips of the fins were kind of damaged, not the top side. The sides, you can see they're kind of rolled over ever so slightly. It's hard to see, but anyway, this measures in diameter probably like 0.2 millimeters or 0.15 millimeters smaller than this. So what I'm doing is new wheel because it takes up more of the clearance in the housing, and then also sticking the wheel out further. I don't run an air filter or anything, just a screen on the car, so these fins are just gonna get beat up with time. That's the way it is. And then the idea is I have these in stock. I still have Super 6 parts, so it kind of works out for racing to do it this way, because now I have inventory to rebuild my own stuff all the time. So this is something I can only really do on my own turbo, making the clearance so tight. Because if I sold a turbo to a customer with such a tight thrust clearance, it might contact the housing under certain expansion conditions. So then you're going to have a customer complaining, oh, the wheel's hitting the housing. This is a garbage turbo, right? So I can only do that in my turbo because it gets the most efficiency out of it. And then if it contacts a bit, it's fine. It'll still work. It'll still be more efficient than one that isn't contacting. But, you know, that stuff's unacceptable for a product that you sell to people. So that's just the difference between racing stuff, I guess, like purpose-built, purposely set up for the car, for the day, for everything, of a turbo versus off-the-shelf product you sell someone. It has to be, you know, completely foolproof and then work on any condition, any setup. So again, on this turbo, I've been running 40-ish pounds at the top of the rev range. And then again, this is a small turbo. This is a 59 millimeter inducer turbo. So, and this is a tiny shaft too. It's an 8 millimeter shaft and then 6.5 millimeter on the small side. So this turbo does work for its size and its weight. So, but it's not blown up. It's not damaged or anything other than debris damage. And then the fact that this was an old wheel, but you know, if I'm going for some fast lap times, every little bit counts once again. So if I pick up even 2 horsepower from this, or 1 horsepower, it's 1 or 2 horsepower I wouldn't have had otherwise, right? So that's the idea here. So as you can see here, center section's finished. You can see the wheel actually sticks out just a bit right there. So that's about 0.4 of a millimeter stick out. It's actually supposed to be flush, but that brings it to near zero clearance on the compressor housing, and you'll see it in a minute. The only way I'm able to adjust any of this is because, of course, these are my turbos, so I have an assortment of collars with different heights and tolerances and all of that, different shims. So only I can adjust stuff like that, and only these turbos are adjustable. So this is why I run nothing but my own stuff. So I got the turbo on, everything's good. Got some RTV in my intake because I was doing a little boost leak test here. Everything looked fine except I had a leak around the throttle body. So now the throttle body's off. I thought it was just the O-ring or the bolt hole, but it turns out there's a flippin' crack in the intake manifold. It's hard to see the line. Yeah, you could see it right there. So I'm gonna clean off the coating and see how far that goes. That's it, a little bit more cleaned up. You can see the crack there. It was leaking quite a bit under pressure, which was interesting. And then, you know, more pressure, you'd hear it a lot louder. So I think it's just opening up. But I think that's from the way the intake used to be set up. There was no give in the charge pipe, so it was probably flexing. And then, you know, trying to pull on this and twist it. That's why it's cracked here, and that's why it probably cracked the first time back here. But anyway, I'm gonna gouge that out, try to drill the ends slightly, not all the way through, and I'm just gonna try to weld it in situ right here, and then boost leak test it again, and yeah, see where that gets us. That's it, nice and prepped. I don't even know if you can see the crack. Where is it? There it is. You can slightly see it now. Anyway, I'm just gonna bog a weld down that, and then we'll see how it goes. So moving right along, I just removed my rear window. I'm gonna rivet these pieces of angled aluminum to the window because this window flexes a lot, and I think it's popping my ears past a certain speed in the car, and I think it's probably disturbing the air to the wing. So pretty simple, just 2 reinforcements. Haven't had this window off in a while, but yeah, nothing new back here, but I guess it's a chance to inspect anything I normally can't access. But yeah, I'm gonna get this done and then on to the next thing. Yeah, it's still flexes, but it's more of an acceptable amount, I'd say. I just went ahead, threw the wing on, got all that done, got all the seams taped off, doors taped off, everything taped off. So I think this will be better on the GoPro. Every little bit of drag reduction helps, like seriously. So yeah, threw the splitter on as well just to check the fitment because things move around a bit. Could adjust the hood here, but I'm just gonna leave it. But yeah, so hopefully this video wasn't too much of nothing. Felt like a lot of nothing, but it was a lot of work. All you gotta do is really wash it, maybe put a fresh set of plugs in it. I'm gonna play with the tune a bit, a degree here, a degree there, you know, and the car is basically ready to run. And then obviously put the tires on, but I don't want to put it on and roll it around in all this dust at the moment. So yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of hours. I don't know, this year, just in spring, I put like hundreds of hours into the car. The way I see it, my mentality is all this work doesn't really make me deserving of anything. Doesn't make me deserve a win or deserve a fast lap time or deserve the best day ever. What this work does is it ensures the best possible outcome. Whatever that may be, the best outcome might be the car braking, the best outcome might be the car going into a wall because I overdrove it, or the best outcome might be a track record. So the effort gives you the opportunity to possibly get the best outcome. So that's what we're after. And you can't get any better than the best outcome because there's a lot of variables in racing, as we all know, and there's a lot of variables in the car itself and the driver. So now the next video is going to be at the track for sure, because I usually like to take maybe a week, maybe just a few days sometimes, to just lock in as a driver and just forget all the mechanical stuff I did, because you can't be in the car thinking about mechanical stuff. So I'm gonna take these days to relax. Maybe the first day I'll go for a run and do some workouts just to, you know, free up my muscles a bit because I'm exhausted, and then just rest, carb load, get the energy up, because going to the track and driving isn't just showing up, spawning in the car and then going. It's wake up at 4 or 5 a.m, prep everything, make sure you have everything, tools, everything, car, lunch, all that. You get to the track, you got driver's meeting to do, you got all that, you got to put the car back together, get it off the trailer, yada yada yada, before you even get into the car. And by the time you get into the car, you already did like a 4-hour day. So you got to gas up for that all week, or a few days in advance actually, just carb load. And then you got to eat properly throughout the day. Keep yourself caffeinated if you drink coffee, you know. There's a lot of stuff to take into account so that you can put down a heater of a lap at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So then you got to make it home alive, and then you got to unload the car again and do all that. So it's a 12-hour day, 15-hour day sometimes, more than that. And then you got to perform well while you're doing that. You can't mess up your heel and toe just because you're tired, because the whole reason you're there is to drive. So anyway, that's enough of me yapping. I'm gonna go eat something now, in fact. I'm making myself hungry just talking about it. And then I'll see you at the track. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Peace.